Hey guys, it's Elliott here, coming to you live on this Friday with a cat in my lap who might be in frame at some point if she decides to get up. I thought I would hop on again and talk about another frequently asked question we get a lot. That is why you're supposed to bind with a binder instead of, say, ace bandages or duct tape. So in the most obvious form, the answer would be because those things aren't meant to bind. We all respect each other's MacGyvering skills, but sometimes the danger outweighs the creativity. And I'm speaking as a person who has tried both of these methods and had a bad time both times. So in regards to stuff like masking tape and duct tape specifically, I know it's something that a lot of cosplayers do to achieve that open chest, shirtless look. But when you're working with that kind of sticky residue that's on the back of it, it's not really meant for the skin. So it can cause stuff like rashes, or if you're like, especially if you don't know if you're allergic to it or not, or after a long day of very prolonged wear, if you don't know how to take it off, which I didn't, you get stuck with possibly open wounds because it's taking the skin off with it. So now you have a surface level, just there's bleeding and it's going to hurt, that kind of stuff. So, especially when you're going over sensitive areas, if you don't remember to cover them up first, it's possible to take skin off, not in huge chunks, but in enough that you're going to have a bad time afterwards while it's healing up. As for ace bandages, which are far more common in our community, everybody's seen it. A lot of us have tried that route. Most of us know we shouldn't, but we don't always know why. And it's because you're putting a medical piece of, we'll say equipment because I can't think of a better word. You're putting medical equipment over your chest, over some flexible bones, which in itself is not the worst thing in the world, but ace bandages are designed that every time they get pulled tighter, they compress more. So when you're breathing out and pulling it tight, or breathing in and pulling it tight, and then breathing out, it gets tighter in increments as time goes on. And when it's doing that over flexible bone, that means the bone's going to move. You're going to get stuff closing in on itself. It's going to make it harder to breathe. In more extreme and prolonged cases, you can end up with your ribs being warped. You can end up with something bruised or even, God forbid, broken. And you can damage the tissue under your chest as well, which can prove to be a bad combination to have if you want to go and get top surgery at some point. Now you don't necessarily know if you're able to because you had to pick a cheap option. And even binders are, while specifically designed to bind, we all got to take a break from time to time. You got to listen to your body, think about what is it telling me? Am I in pain? And why am I in pain? You got to play it by ear. And when you're listening, you have to acknowledge if you're in pain, something's not right. You got to take a break and you got to make sure you're using the tools that you can get your hands on that are designed to do what you need them to do. And that means buying a compression garment designed to work as a compression garment and not just going down to the local corner store, a term no one uses anymore, and grabbing the $5 bandage off the shelf that's meant to compress a swollen ankle and not your rib cage.